Hey everyone, it's Alex here. I'm going to walk through one of those decisions that feels bigger than a coffee shop purchase: the commercial beverage cooler that sits in the back of a restaurant or a small grocery aisle. If you're wrestling with the idea of adding a glass door fridge to your space, you probably have a few worries floating around. Will it keep drinks at the right temperature all day? Does it take up more room than I have? And most importantly, am I paying for features I'll never use? The goal today is to break those questions down, look at how this unit behaves in a real-world setup, and decide if it truly matches the price tag. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the ECEVT 20.8-inch wide commercial refrigerator isn't a tiny countertop cooler, it's an 11 cubic foot upright that's built for display as much as for storage. The design revolves around a dual-layer glass door that claims to stop condensation and hold a steady interior temperature. In practice, that means when you open the door to grab a soda, the glass stays clear and you don't get that foggy look that sometimes hides the product inside. For a place that relies on visual merchandising, think a convenience store or a deli bar, being able to see each bottle or can without wiping the glass is a small but genuine time saver. One of the first things I looked at was the interior layout. The fridge comes with 5 adjustable shelves, and they're not just static plastic pieces, you can slide them up or down in 1-inch increments. This flexibility matters when you're juggling different bottle heights: a case of 2-liter soda bottles on the bottom, 12 ounces cans in the middle, and a few specialty craft brews near the top. In a test run, I stacked a full case of 2-liter bottles on the lowest shelf, and they fit comfortably without touching the back wall. Moving the next shelf up a couple of inches let me line up a row of 16 ounces cans in a neat row that stayed visible from the front. The adjustability eliminated the need for any extra bin or rack, which is a cost you'd otherwise incur. Temperature control is handled by a digital thermostat that you set through a small panel on the front. The key point here is the user-friendly interface. You turn a knob, the numbers light up, and the unit quickly settles into the set point. I set it to 38°F, typical for chilled beverages, and after a few hours the interior stabilized within a degree, even after the door was opened repeatedly during a mock busy lunch hour. The dual-layer glass does help keep the cold air from escaping as fast as it would with a single pane, so you aren't constantly fighting a temperature drift. For owners who run a high turnover bar, that steady temperature translates directly into less waste from warmed-out drinks. Mobility is another practical concern you'll hear a lot about, especially if you rent space or anticipate moving equipment later. The cooler sits on a set of castor wheels that lock in place. In my trial, rolling the unit from the back storage room onto the sales floor took a single person about 10 seconds. The wheels lock firmly, so there's no wobble when the door opens or when the compressor cycles. This makes it a viable option for pop-up events or food trucks that might need to shift the fridge around sometimes. Now, let's talk about the downsides that tend to get glossed over in specs. The first is noise. The compressor runs quietly most of the time, but when it kicks in during a temperature recovery, you'll hear a low hum that can be audible in a quiet CAF environment. It's not a shrill whine, but if you have a seating area right next to the cooler, the sound might be noticeable. The second issue is power consumption. At 11 Cu.ft, the unit draws roughly 1.2 kilowatts under normal operation. In a shop that's already pushing its electrical panel close to limit, you'll want to factor that in. It's not a deal breaker, but it's a hidden cost that some small business owners overlook until they get the electric bill. Who should consider buying this fridge? If you run a restaurant, a bar, a grocery aisle, or even a community center that needs to display a variety of drinks, the ECEVT cooler hits a sweet spot. Its glass door visibility, adjustable shelving, and easy mobility make it especially handy for locations where you rotate stock frequently. The fact that it can hold both large bottles and cans without needing additional bins means you save on ancillary purchases. For a small-scale operation that wants to present its beverage line professionally without splurging on a high-end brand, this unit provides most of the functional necessities. Who should skip it? If you're looking for a freezer-type unit that can also hold perishable foods, or you need a super quiet appliance for a library or a meditation studio, this isn't the right fit. The glass door, while great for display, can be a liability in high-traffic areas where kids might